That's right, folks. Some news I have been waiting for. We finally get ourselves a released year, not an official release date, but a release year for Nanoha's next continuation, or you could say prequel. All we know is that we're getting more Nanoha news. For those you do not know what I am talking about, there's this anime series called Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha, which came out in early 2000s about a 9-year-old girl who saw a little ferret named Krona in need, and she helps him, and she becomes a magical girl. But the story takes some dark turns, and it becomes very personal. Good music, great animation, and even got itself 4 movies. That's right, 4 movies. The first two movies adapting the first 2 seasons, then the last 2 movies adapting a continuation, where some argue whether it's canon or not, where it's pretty much reflection and detention. Then later on, this is Nanaha in her adult form, whereas from Nanaha Strikers, and then of course the manga continue as Nanaha Vivid and Vivid Strike, and of course Forces. So when Forces was a manga, Vivid was being played with 1 season, and then it got and they even on live link where it says that it's still in production for season 2 for Vivid Strike, which is about her daughter. Nothing's happening. So then we all look forward to the manga, but the manga was been canceled for a long time as well. So Donna was just in limbo, nowhere to go. Until a while back during the 20th anniversary, they announced they're going to do new projects. The first new projects we all heard about was going to be about them taking the first 2 movies, which were based off the first 2 seasons, and making them pretty much a, a remake. Pretty much, but they would do it based off of those movies instead, give it a more straightforward and more dark story compared to the original 2 seasons where it was very episodic, and then it had a lot of unnecessary filler inside of it. They were going to give her a proper thing. That's what we first heard, but we have never heard nothing about that. Then out of nowhere, they introduce us to Xseeds, Guns Blaze Vengeance. So, what's up with that? So apparently, this Xseeds Nana is about her as a 13-year-old, and she's already working as a 13-year-old, going planet to planet, doing missions and everything. And now she is on this planet, and I believe, as I was reading it, I'm like, is this what the anime is going to be about? Yes and no. The anime is going to be about what happens after the manga. That was my theory, because when they first say that they're doing a new anime project for Nanoha, it says Guns Blaze Vengeance, but the manga only says um Exceeds, but not Guns Blaze Vengeance. So I'm guessing Exceeds is a prequel to Guns Blaze Vengeance. Something must happen towards the end of Exceeds before it becomes Guns Blaze Vengeance. So whatever happens, it involves this brown-haired girl who is on the planet where she lives in an area full of robots, and she then have one she calls like a father. And I'm up to date with the manga. I am. And however, it adapts slowly. Not a lot. It's really happening. It's really taking its time. But whatever happens on this planet is going to be the continuation in the anime. So we just got a key visual, and we're also being told that it's releasing next year. So now that they just told us right now that it's being released for next year, my guess is that it's going to be releasing probably in the summer or fall, no less. Because means it's in production right now, and it takes a while to create some good anime. It takes some weeks, to create a couple episodes. So I'm guessing that it has to be summer or fall. It can't be winter. That'd be ridiculous. But fall makes more sense. Then summer is cutting it close, but my guess is those 2 seasons. Now, that being said, I am very excited for my Nanoha news. Nanoha isn't a series I knew all my life. I'll be honest with you. I discovered it back in 2018. Be honest with you, my original most favorite anime girl series, well, magical girl series, was Yuki Yuna as a hero. You saw me if you are a long fan of the channel. I pretty much reviewed it and talked about it. Um, when the season two and the OVAs and everything else hit on it, and I love them very much. And it's to the point where Yuki Yuna's popularity kind of popped off. As strong as match Monika's, not so much, unfortunately. But it gained its fandom and it was able to rival Monica. But then I discovered this, and I'm like, wow, this actually has like a good amount of material on it. And in a way, this is to me, my opinion, the Dragon Ball Z equivalent to this, because think about it, this series is a long running series where I focus on a person since they were a child all the way up to past where they have their own child, and the own child has their own little spin-off, and they're doing their own little thing. Something Gohan probably wish he could have had. They let Nanoha's child to be the main character for a while, not just, okay, we change our minds, bring that Nanoha. They do, but she doesn't, in the future, she doesn't grab most of the spotlight because she comes too OP, so they allow other characters to breathe. But I'm talking off here. I like this because Nanoha is that character, despite how she looks very friendly and nice. Her nickname is called the White Devil. They call her the White Devil because despite her just being 9 years old as well when she started all this, she had a large pool of mana and she was a genius when it comes to crafting magic. She had no true, real military training or anything special that all the other magical soldiers were able to do. She was able to do this at 9 years old and stuff. So as she got older, the stronger she became, more skilled she got, to the point that only really two magicians, her two best friends, from the magical world, were able to truly rival her when it comes to power and skill. But nonetheless, she was a very powerful character within the series as time goes on. And despite her being a kind nature, she was pretty strict as a mommy and stuff. Where she had a child, and when the child was struggling or having some problems, doing something, wanting to cry, she told the child not to cry. You are too strong to be crying like this. I kid you not. Or where her disciples were not getting her message of what she was trying to tell them, and instead of just scolding them, talking down to them, she will constantly attack them, hold them down, and blast them out of the sky if you're not getting her lesson and stuff like that. And she became so dangerous. Even people who were created from the Book of Darkness, one of the most magical, strongest magical items within the series, was not able to take her down with an all-out attack. And she still stood there. And when we walked it off, they called her the devil. Heck, there's even, I don't know if it's a canon or not, but I believe there was like a crossover. I don't know if the crossover was canon, but it was a manga I read a while back where pretty much they had a crossover with Madoka characters and stuff like that, and they went over. They made it make sense because in Madoka, if you don't know, Homura Kemi keeps rewinding time, and in her world, Nana's world, they're pretty much space time patrol police. They go not just to different worlds, they go to different times and different dimensions as well. So time travel, spacewalking, all that stuff is an everyday thing for them. So they probably picked on like, hey, someone keeps rewinding time in this section of the dimensions. We need to go check it out. So that I'm guessing in one of those timelines that Homura went back in, they came along and they were fighting her. And once again, as she was fighting one of them, they called her a devil. That's why she became the name of the White Devil, because she was someone who was so young, but yet so good with magic that she could keep up with a master. Anyways, I'm glazing this girl too much. I am glazing her too much. It's because she's that of an interesting character, you know. Is that in these days and age, especially in Western entertainment, they don't know how to really draw or create a strong female character. One that they're not too boastful or ignorant or arrogant. You know, that you can make someone as calm and Mary Sue, but you gotta give them something that makes them worthy of that title in a way. Where Nanoha was a happy-go-lucky person who was willing to hear people out, but she would do whatever she can to get her way, even if it meant beating the crap out of you. That was just how character she was, in a way. But anyways, I'm blaming it too much. I'm just glad. The only thing we got so far is pretty much the key visual. And that's it. And it's the thing you see right here on the thing. And nothing more, nothing less. So hopefully we get something later on. More a trailer, a nice trailer. You know, to see that good, key, beautiful animation. But anyways, that's all I got for this video. I was just so happy to have some Nanoha news after all this time. And I'm looking forward to it. So if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This is the Madcrownxox. I'm Anime. Signing out.